Hello everyone, welcome back to the course Power Plant Engineering. In the last lecture, we have discussed about the basics of wind power plant. In that lecture, we have discussed about the basics of wind energy, site selection criteria for wind power plant, as well the classification of wind turbines. In this lecture, we will discuss on the constructional details of wind power plant. The wind power plant schematic shows the constructional details of a wind power plant, which consist mechanical parts as well the electrical components of wind power plant. Wind turbines or wind generators are machines that captures the kinetic energy in the wind and convert it to mechanical or electrical energy that can be applied for some use. When hot or cool breezes blow, a wind turbine produces electricity. The wind blows through blades which converts the wind's energy into rotational shaft energy. The blades are mounted atop at a high tower to drivetrain, usually with a gearbox that uses the rotational energy from the blades to spin magnets in the generator and convert that energy into electrical energy. The shaft, drivetrain and generator are covered by a protective enclosure called nacelle. Electronic and electrical equipments including controls, electrical cables, ground support equipments and interconnection equipment control the turbine, which ensure the maximum productivity and transmit the electrical power. Today's utility scale turbines can be 100 meters high or more than that. Modern wind energy systems operate automatically. The wind turbine depends on the same aerodynamic forces created by the wings of an aeroplane to cause a rotation. An anemometer that continuously measures wind speed is a part of most wind turbine control systems. When the wind speed is high enough to overcome friction in the wind turbine drivetrain, the controls allow the rotor to rotate, thus producing a very small amount of power. This cut-in wind speed is usually a gentle breeze of about 4 meters per second. Power output increases rapidly as the wind speed increases. When output reaches the maximum power the machinery is designed for, the wind turbine controls govern the output to the rated power. The wind speed at which rated power is reached is called the rated wind speed of the turbine and is usually a strong wind of about 15 meters per second. Eventually, if the wind speed increases further, the control system shut down the wind turbine to prevent damage to the machinery in the power plant. This cutout wind speed is usually around 25 meters per second. The major components of modern wind energy system typically consist the following: rotor with 2 or 3 blades which converts the energy in the wind into mechanical energy onto the rotor shaft, gearbox to match the slowly turning rotor shaft to the electrical generator, wind turbine generator which converts mechanical energy onto the rotor shaft into electrical energy, tall tower which support the rotor high above the ground to capture the high wind speeds, solid foundation to prevent the wind turbine from blowing over in high winds, and control system to start and stop the wind turbine and to monitor proper operation of the machinery. Let's see all these major components one by one with details. Let's see the first component, which is a rotor of the wind power plant. The part of the rotor can be broadly divided into the following categories. First, hub on which the blades are mounted. Second, the blades which are designed aerodynamically and it is of glass fiber reinforced plastic. nose cone which controls the power output of the wind power plant. Let's see the technical specifications of three-bladed pitch regulated wind turbine with rated power of 2100 kilowatts. Rotor cone angle 5 degrees. Rotor speed at rated power 15.47 revolutions per minute. Tip speed at rated power 71 meters per second and rotor shift tilt angle 4 degrees. Glass fiber reinforced plastic rotor blades aerodynamically optimized with high strength to weight ratio, good fatigue properties and high elasticity, as well integrated lightning protection. Blades are mounted on sleeve bearings which in turn are mounted on a iron hub. A rotor is mounted on rotor shaft with through hole for pitch wiring. The second component of wind power plant is hub. Blades are mounted on the hub. Hub consists the necessary strength and rigidity which is required for mounting the blades. Hub is attached to low speed shaft which is further connected to the gearbox. It can withstand extreme load cases and high factor of safety. Its ductility is very high. Hub consists 3 of pitch bearing and 3 pitch drives. Function of hub is to interconnect rotor blades and rotor shaft.
Pitch drives with the motor consist two parts. One is pitch mechanism and second is rotor blades. Let's see first pitch mechanism. The rotor blades are connected to the hub via pitch ball bearings and can swell fully perpendicular to the sense of the rotation. The motors of the pitching system have an intelligent system with frequency control drives controlled by their own controllers. These intelligent frequency drives communicate with the control system in real time. The control system updates the motor after gauging the available wind regime, and the motors constantly update the control system on the instant blade angle. The precision electromechanical micropitch mechanism achieves zero point 0.1 degree pitching resolution, resulting in extreme fine-tuning of the aerodynamic profile. The major components of the pitching system are as shown in the figure. The pitch motors are mounted on the pitch drive. The pinion of the drive turns the sleeve ring and in turn pitches blades. There are 15 teeth in pitch drive. Pitch drive rotates the sleeve ring with low speed and high torque. Pitch motor gives torque for the turning or pitching the blades. The resolver is mounted on the shaft of the motor to measure the speed of the motor or speed of the pitching. 3 pitch motors are individually pitch the blades. The blades can be positioned with the accuracy of 0.1 degrees. The resolver gives feedback of the motor speed to the controller to ensure the simultaneous pitching of the all blades. Rotor assembly consists rotor hub and rotor blade assembly. Rotor hub houses control panels and batteries for the rotor blade operation and actually helps to join 3 blades. It also has nose cone in front of minimizing air resistance. Rotor blades are made up of fiberglass and more recently carbon fiber for weight reduction. And its unique aerodynamic profile of the blades that actually help to harness every unit of electricity using wind. The second part is rotor blades. The portion of the wind turbines that collects energy from the wind is called the rotor. The rotor usually consists of 2 or more fiberglass or metal blades which rotates about an axis either horizontal or vertical at the rate determined by the wind speed and the shape of the blades. The blades are attached to the hub, which in turn is attached to main shaft. Rotor blades of the turbine operates on either the principle of drag or drift. For the drag design, the wind literally pushes the blades out of the way. Drag-powered wind turbines are characterized by slow rotational speeds and high torque capabilities. They are useful for many applications. Basic aerodynamic principles determines that there is an optimal installed blade area for the given rotational speed. A turbine for which wind farm application generally has a tip speed of 6070 meters per second. With this tip speed, a 3-blade rotor is 23% more efficient than the 2-blade rotor. It is even possible to use a single bladed rotor if a counterbalance is mounted. The efficiency loss is about 6% compared with the two-bladed rotor construction. The number of blades that make up a rotor and the total area they covered affect the wind turbine performance. For a lift-type rotor to function effectively, the wind must flow smoothly over the blades. To avoid turbulence, spacing between the blades should be great enough so that one blade will not encounter the disturbance, weaker airflow caused by the blades which passed before it. It is because of this requirement that most wind turbines have only 2 or 3 blades on their rotor. Main bearing and rotor shaft. These are highly precision made components which enable various aspects to move at high speeds. When it comes to the wind turbine bearings, the manufacturers needs to a bearing supplier with experience and capability to support critical pitch, yaw, and gearbox applications in the system. Wind turbine bearings needs to be corrosion resistant due to their constant exposure to the elements. Without this resistance, the bearing's ability would be slowly reduced, affecting its performance, which would be then go on to the cause the wind turbine to stop working. Next is the rotor main shaft. The rotor main shaft is connected in between hub and the gearbox. Its function is to transmit the speed of the rotor to the gearbox. Next important component is yaw mechanism. It is necessary to align the rotor axis with the wind in order to extract as much energy from the wind as possible. Most horizontal axis wind turbine uses forced yawing. An electrical or hydraulic system is used to align the machine with the wind. The yaw drives reacts on signals. For example, wind vane on the top of the nacelle. Almost all manufacturers of upward machines brake in the yaw mechanism is not used. The yaw motor has a small wheel that engages a huge wheel. The large wheel is called the yaw bearing. On the some yaw bearing, the tip point outwards, while on other they are turned inwards. It all depends on the position of the yaw motor. The yaw mechanism senses the wind direction with the help of wind vane. This in turn uses electrical motors to turn the nacelle so that it always faces against the wind. The yawing movement is activated and controlled by 3 electrically braked yaw motors, yaw assembly motors. Yaw assembly can broadly be divided into the following 3 parts. First is mainframe, second is yaw rim, and third is yaw drives with motors. Towers. It is a tall vertical component made up of consisting 3 or sometimes 4 sections, steel tubes, each weighing several tons, joined using nuts, bolts, and flanges. Tower is firmly planted to the ground, again using very strong nut, bolt, and flanges assembly bolted to a strong civil foundation that is designed to weather static and dynamic loads of the wind turbine generators. The tower on which the wind turbine is mounted is not just a support structure. It is also rises the wind turbine so that its blade safely clear the ground and so it can reach the stronger winds at the higher elevations. Maximum tower height is optional in most cases except where zoning restrictions apply. The decisions of the what height tower to use will be based on the cost of the taller towers versus the value of the increases in the energy production resulting from their use. Studies have shown that the added cost of increasing tower height is often justified by the added power generated from the stronger winds. Longer wind turbines are usually mounted on towers ranging from 40 to 70 meters tall. Towers for small wind systems are generally geared design. This means that there are gay wires anchored to the ground on three or four sides of the tower to hold it erect. These towers cost less than freestanding towers but requires more land area to anchor the wires. Some of these towers are erected by tilting them up. This operation can be quickly accomplished using only a winch with the turbine already mounted on to the top of the tower. This simplifies not only installation but maintenance as well. Towers can be constructed of a simple tube or a lattice tube, rod and angle iron. Large wind turbines may be mounted on the lattice towers. Tube towers or Kate tilt-up towers. Installers can recommend the best type of tower for your wind turbine. It must be strong enough to support the wind turbine and to sustain vibrations, wind loading, and the overall weather elements for the lifetime of the wind turbine. There are two types of the towers which are mostly used for the commercial applications. One is lattice tower and other is tubular tower. Lattice towers are manufactured using welded steel profiles. The basic advantage of lattice towers is cost since a lattice tower requires only half as much material as freely standing tubular towers with a similar stiffness. The basic disadvantage of lattice tower is their visual appearance. Next is tubular tower. Most large wind turbines are delivered with the tubular steel towers, which are manufactured since sections of 20 to 30 meters with the flanges at their end and bolted together on the side. The towers are conical in order to increase the strength and the save materials at the same time. Choosing a correct tower height is most important from wind power plant. Two most important considerations in planning the tower height for a wind turbine are: first, avoidance of turbulent airflow produced near ground level by the roughness of the terrain over which the wind flows, and second is avoidance of the excessive ground drag which lower wind velocity near the ground and several restricts the performance of the wind turbine. The optimum height of the tower is a function of tower cost per meter, how much the wind locally varies with the height above the ground level, that is average local terrain roughness, and third is the price of the turbine owner gets for an additional kilowatt hour of the electricity. Manufacturers often deliver machines where the tower height is equal to the rotor diameter. Aesthetically, many people find that turbines are more pleasant to look at if the tower height is roughly equal to the rotor diameter. Tower assembly at site can be seen in the pictures shown in the picture.
The next important component of the control system of the wind power plant is anemometer. The anemometer measures the wind speed and notifies the wind turbine controller when it is so windy that it would be profitable to use power to make wind turbine turn into the wind and start running. It is important to know how much wind is there. If the wind is too strong, the wind turbine can break. This is why the wind turbine is brought to a stop when the wind speed exceeds 25 meters per second. When the wind speed drops, the anemometer tells the controller that to start the turbine once again. The actual schematic diagram of the anemometer is shown in the figure. It consists of measuring instruments inside the aluminum case. It is also having a LCD display on which the wind speed is been displayed. It is having a dial for the measuring wind direction. Let us take a review of constructional details of wind power plant. Blades, rotor, pitch of the blades, low speed shaft, gearbox, yaw drive, electrical generator, high speed shaft, anemometer and controller.